So let us learn one of the important concept in groups, that is polymorphism, in this lecture. So coming to the definition of the polymorphism. So polymorphism means a single thing that is existing in different forms. So a better example that is well known to everybody is that is Lord Krishna has taken 10 avatars. A single God has taken 10 avatars for eradicating different problems in his different avatars. So likewise in C++, coming to the function, a function, if it exists in the same name in different forms, then it is called as polymorphism. So this word has been arised from the Greek word polymorphism, which means that poly means uh, many and morphs means forms. So let's get into detail about polymorphism. So here they have given a real-time example. So as a student, uh, uh, you take different forms. So uh, when you just when you are in a classroom, you will be termed as student, and when you compared with your parent, you will be termed as a children. And when you go to a company, the same student will be called as an employee. So a single person is taking different forms in different areas or different situations. So this is nothing but polymorphism. So similarly in the programming, polymorphism is divided into two types. One is static polymorphism and dynamic polymorphism. So another name for static polymorphism is compile time polymorphism, and dynamic polymorphism is runtime polymorphism. So in the sense, this polymorphism, if it occurs during the compilation time or while the program has been written, so it is nothing but static polymorphism. And during the runtime, if polymorphism is taking place, then it is called as dynamic polymorphism. Under static polymorphism, we have two concepts. One is function overloading and another one is operator overloading. And dynamic polymorphism, we have virtual function concepts. So in this lecture, we are just going to see about function and operator overloading. So function overloading can also be called as method overloading. When the same method exists in multiple times in a particular program, so then it is nothing but method overloading. Example, if for example, if in a program there is a function named sum, if the function under the same name is repeated multiple times, so then we can get a conclusion that a single function is repeated many number of times. So it's nothing but method overloading or function overloading. So let's explain this with an example. So in this program, so under the class addition, you have two functions, so but they are with the same name, that is sum. So this is nothing but function overloading. So but you may get a confusion that how can we able to declare two functions with same name. So here the functions are with same name, but when you look closer, the parameters part of the function, in the first function there is only two parameters, and in the second function there are three parameters. So while the program executes, based on the number of parameters, it will identify the a particular function which it has to call. So here, once the main function starts, so you are creating an object for the class addition. So an object is created which is of the type addition. Here, once the object is created, all the members of that particular class will be instantiated into this object. Since there are no data members is initiated. So a function copy alone will be maintained by the class. So again, coming to this second line, that is this object, it calls the function named sum by passing two parameters 10, 20. So here also under the same name there is another function which passes three parameters. So the program won't get confused, or the object won't get confused. This object just calls the function with two parameters, and these object calls the function with 3 parameters. So the execution part, nothing abnormal will happen. So based on the number of parameters, the functions will be called respectively. So coming, so here there is a class named complex, and it starts from here and it's in and it ends here. And it ends here. So here in this class we have declared two data members a comma b, and we have declared two functions, set data and show data. And here also, here only the actual operator overloading takes place. So in this program, what we are going to do, we are going to create three objects, that is C1, C2 and C3. So under C1, we are going to store two values, that is A and B. That is the value of A and B for the first C object, and then for C2 object also we are just going to get the value and we are going to store it in A and B. And for C3, what we are doing, we are just combining the values of C1's A, and or we are adding the value of C1's A and C2's A, and then we are just placing it in C3's A. That is, the A value of C3 will be the sum of A values of C1 and C2. Similarly, for B we are doing. Okay. So coming to the main function, here we are just creating three objects. So C1, C2, C3. So once you call the set data function of 3 comma row, so the call will be going for this. So in that AB will be there and C1. So we are passing this 3 comma 4 to these X and Y, and these X will be given to A and these Y will be given to B. Now this, since the C1 operator is in live, so C1 objects is in live, and the C1 objects A and B will be assigned 3 and 4 now. So similarly for C2 object, again we are calling the set data, and for its value of A and B will be set as 6. So for C3, we are not doing the same activity. So instead of that, what we are doing, from C1 we are taking A and B, and from C2 also we are taking A and B, and we are adding. So what happens is, so here only the actual operator overloading happens. So here, so normally plus what it will do addition of two operands, that is A plus B. Similarly, for example, but here what it's going to do, it's going to add the values of two different objects. So here this plus is nothing but operator overloading. Instead of performing the normal addition operation, it is doing something extra. So what it's doing is uh, actually this is just like a function only, but we cannot completely call it as function. It's nothing but operator overloading. So for this complex C here, so what we are doing here, we are passing the object C2 to this C. So now C becomes C2. So C can access C2's members. Uh, and here we are just creating a temporary object. So what we are actually going to do is, so finally we have to display this C's value. So before displaying C's, we are just creating a temporary object similar to C3. In that we will be doing the all those operations, and we will be updating the temporary object, and these updated results will be transferred to C. So just this temporary object is an temporary object for C3 object. Okay. So here what we are doing, now we are uh, accessing the value of A, that is this A represents the C1 objects A value, and this C represents the C2 values, C2 objects A value. So then now C2 objects A value is uh, 5 and C1 objects A value is 3. So 5 and 3. Since we are passing C1 here, so this A will be taken as C1 and this, since we are passing C2 here, so this C will be taken as. So now 5 plus 3 and 6 plus 4. So that will be the temporary objects A and B. So A will be now 3 plus 5 8 and B will be now 6 plus 4 10. So what we are doing, we are returning temp here. So from here this has been called and all the operation has been done, then this will be going here. So now, sorry, here it will. So now the temp is assigned to C3. Now temp values are transferred to, or temp is becoming C3. So then what we are doing, C3 dot show data. So this function show data is called from here. Then what it does, it displays the value of A and B that is in C3. Now uh, since this temporary object is now C3's values will be what it was in temporary. So now we can display the C3's value, that is A value as 8 and B value as